does your journey end? You seek that which would bestow upon you the right to rule. The quest to reclaim a homeland and slay a dragon.
Do not think I won't kill you, dwarf.
When did we allow evil to become stronger than us?
It is not our fight.
It is our fight.
What if it's a trap?
It's undoubtedly a trap.
Such is the nature of evil. In time, all foul things come forth.
If you awaken that beast, you will destroy us all.
Was that an earthquake?
That, my lad, was a dragon.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? This is another Wing Productions video, and I am your host, Eluthion. And today, we got the Hobbit the trailer for The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, the second Hobbit movie, and I just felt I had to address it since I'm such a huge Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, and Hobbit fan. I've read all the books and all that, seen all the movies, and I had my gripes with, I know my review was very, happy, but I had some problems with the first Hobbit movie, and the problem was that it was too kid friendly. I thought they had made it, well, the Hobbit book is really, it's a kid's book. It was made by Tolkien as like a bedtime story for his children, but later on Tolkien actually wanted to make the Hobbit more darker in the lines of Lord of the Rings, and I feel that that's obviously what the filmmakers want to do. They want to draw from the appendices of the Return of the King, and all that, and they're putting in some stuff that Tolkien presumably wanted to change and make darker, and I love that. And overall, this film seems like where we start to pick up on the action and where stuff actually seems to be happening, and I just love that. And I love all the elves. The elves look wonderful. Sometimes the shots look too CGI, and that was a real problem with the first movie too. But I mean, I can deal with it since I think the writing is so amazing, and I also feel the chemistry in that one scene between Tauriel, which is, by the way, a totally made-up character that totally works, and Legolas, who it makes sense for him to be in this movie. But still, I thought that line when he says, "This is not our fight," or whatever, and she says, "This is our fight." And that's really awesome, because that's what the whole reasoning behind them being let go, or escaping. But I suppose we have the barrel shot, so I suppose they will have to escape. But that's the whole reasoning, that the dragon, Smaug, is a threat to everything. And while we're talking about the dragon, let's just talk about seeing the dragon. I have heard some complaints that it was too, raptor-like, but I don't agree with that. I love it. It's the way I've always envisioned him, because I was afraid that they were going to do, something really bold with the dragon. Something really new and fresh, and I just felt that I didn't want that, because Smaug is like the godfather of every fantasy dragon. He should be not generic, but he should be that classic, fantasy dragon, and I loved him being that, and I felt that was amazing. So yeah, and also he's red, he's not too bright and all that. But there was one thing I thought about: Bilbo is clearly being seen. He's not being seen, but he's not invisible, and we don't have all that shadow stuff that we had when Bilbo put on the ring. When he was about to kill Gollum in the first movie. So, and in the books, Bilbo is actually teasing Smaug and being cloaked or invisible. So I wonder how they're going to handle that. But I love that there's such an emphasis on the dwarves' quest, and there's a lot of new lines for the elves and all that that talk about, you know, the quest of the dwarves, about reclaiming Erebor, and I thought that was really amazing. I loved seeing a great shot of Thranduil's home, the woodland realms of the elves who live in Mirkwood. I loved seeing that, and I thought it was great. It was just this vast, open, beautiful world, very like Lothlorien-like, but with a very different lighting, very much yellows and reds and gold and warm lights, and I love that. And I also think like Lee Pace's design as Thranduil is really amazing, and the acting of Lee Pace and the writing for him was just amazingly delivered, and he sounded and moved and looked so elf-like. He was so believable, and yeah, but there's a lot of CG, obviously, and they have, like, from what I understood, gone away from the prosthetics and actors since I mean, when you shoot at 48 frames per second, it's really unforgiving. So I guess they can't use prosthetics the way they used to, but nevertheless, I feel it's a bit, I don't know, it doesn't look real that way. I mean, just because, and there's something I want to discuss, just because they have the technology doesn't mean they always should use it. But obviously Peter Jackson wants to, like, he feel it's his mission to, like, bring kids back to the movie theater, and I suppose that's a good thing, but I don't know. Well, it's Peter Jackson, so I totally trust him, you know. And what else did we get to see? We got to see some great, like, big shots, and also the music was wonderful. I love the music. I was very happy that they brought something new to it, and that it wasn't the dwarven theme that we got in the first movie. And it also seems less going from the frying pan and into the fire, you know. It seems less like running, chasing, sleeping, running, chasing, sleeping. It's very, like, intense for the viewer and also a bit boring. And the first movie was really fighting, a lot of action, a lot of running from action, and a lot of sleeping. So, you know, I'm happy that we get to see some big landscapes. I'm hoping for a lot more dialogue and a lot more character stuff. And I love the shot of Bilbo getting up among the trees of Mirkwood and all that. And I also love that they're going on with that Gandalf, Dol Guldur stuff. And I also think that Dol Guldur stuff will be a way that Radagast can get away from this, like, the Jar Jar Binks of the Hobbit, you know, and become more awesome as we know he is, because he is a great wizard. And as Gandalf explains in the first movie, he's just different. He isn't weird or stupid or retarded or anything. He's just different. He lives a lot with just animals, and I mean, that should, like, ruin your social skills, I guess. So yeah. What else? What else? I'm hoping that there will be a bit more focus on the individual dwarves. And also, I've noticed that Lake Town is snowing, and I don't remember if it was snowing from the books, but maybe that's not that important because it looks fucking awesome. I think Bard is wonderful, and again, the acting is great. The acting that Bard did was wonderful, and I love that. I don't have any real problems with this trailer. I mean, the only problem is maybe that there's so much time until we actually get to see the full movie. But I must say that I'm a bit worried. A bit worried about some of the changes, and I'm worried also if we should have seen the dragon, because that's a big reveal. I mean, everyone knows there is a dragon, and that it's going to be some sort of dragon reveal eventually. And I'm also wondering if Smaug is gonna die in this movie. Because what I'm thinking is, if Smaug dying is the climax of this movie, there's not that much except for the Battle of the Five Armies happening between the Smaug's death and Bilbo going home. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I trust them. And they're bringing in a lot of stuff from the appendices. And we have a confirmation that Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be playing the Necromancer, aka Sauron. So I suppose there's still some Sauron stuff, like, because they want to, like, melt these movies into the Lord of the Rings trilogy later on. So I suppose the whole Sauron thing might be like an ending to the Hobbit, just to go straight into the Lord of the Rings. And I don't necessarily know if that's a good thing, you know, to have, like, an evil left to deal with at the end of a trilogy. Because I mean, the first movie, you know, seeing Frodo going off to run and meet Gandalf and, like, correlate with the Fellowship of the Ring, that's of course, that's good and that's cool to see, but I don't know if it has to be there. We don't have to be reminded like, oh, this is a Lord of the Rings movie, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky here, but I suppose, yeah. So I love the trailer overall. Overall, it's a great trailer. It's a lot of action again, but it seems also to be room for some dialogue. And I hope they don't overuse the CGI and everything like that. Love the dragon, loved everything. Um, there's not a lot else to talk about. You know, rate, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. I got more Dota 2 and Crisis 3 videos coming, obviously. But yeah, school's ending soon, and I won't have that much access to the computer. But yeah, we'll see. Bye.